In a small valley of northern Afghanistan, where the mountains touch the sky and the wind carries the scent of wild flowers, there lived a girl named Laila. Her eyes were bright like morning light, but behind that light lived 1,000 untold stories. Laila was born in a world where girls were not expected to dream. Her father worked in the fields, her mother sewed clothes by candlelight. Books were rare, schools were far, and freedom was something she could only imagine. But Laila had a secret. Every night, she would sneak into her uncle's small library, a dusty room with only a few torn books. She would light a candle, open a book she couldn't even read yet, and trace her fingers over the letters as if they were gold. She didn't know what the words meant, but she felt their power. One day, her father caught her with a book in her hands. He didn't shout, he simply said, "Laila, dreams are beautiful, but dreams can hurt in this world." She lowered her head, but something inside her whispered, "Let them hurt. I will still dream." Years passed. When she turned 15, the world around her grew even smaller. Many of her friends were married off, their lives decided before they could find their own voices. But Laila refused to surrender her light. She began to teach a few younger girls in secret, under the old apricot tree behind her home. There were no blackboards, no desks, just a few stones and the burning will to learn. She drew letters on the ground with a stick and said, "These are more than shapes, they are doors. And one day, you'll walk through them." One night, the sound of gunfire echoed through the valley. The next morning, her father did not return from the fields. Laila's world turned dark, her family lost their only source of income, and fear became part of every breath. But even in sorrow, she refused to let the darkness win. She began sewing clothes with her mother and selling them in the nearby town. And every evening, she still gathered the little girls to read and write. When people asked her why, she said, "Because even a single candle can fight the night." Time moved forward. Laila grew into a young woman, stronger, wiser, but still carrying the same spark. She saved a little money and made a bold decision, to move to the city and study for real. Her mother cried, "The city is cruel, Laila. You are alone there." Laila smiled softly. "Mama, I have the light of your prayers. That's all I need." Kabul was a different world, busy, noisy, and full of walls. She rented a small room and worked in a tailor shop during the day. At night, she studied from borrowed books under a single flickering bulb. Some nights, she was so hungry she drank only water before sleeping. Other nights, she cried silently because loneliness hurt more than hunger. But every morning, she looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "Laila, you're not fighting for yourself, you're fighting for every girl who still sits under the apricot tree." Years passed. Laila graduated from university, the first woman from her village ever to do so. But she didn't stop there. She wanted to give back. With the little money she saved, she rented a small house and turned it into a learning center for girls. At first, only 3 students came. People whispered, laughed, said she was wasting her time. But Laila didn't answer. She just kept teaching. A year later, 30 girls came. 2 years later, 100. Her center became a symbol of hope, not just for her village, but for others across the province. One day, a journalist visited her. He asked, "Laila, why did you never give up?" She smiled and replied, "Because the world doesn't change when we shout. It changes when we refuse to stay silent." He looked at her students and said softly, "You brought light to this place." Laila nodded. "No, they are the light. I only carried the sunrise until they learned to shine on their own." Now, years later, Laila's learning center has grown into a school with teachers, books, and dreams alive in every classroom. Children who once walked barefoot now hold pens instead of stones. And on the wall near the gate, written in her own handwriting, are these words: "You can take away my books, my roof, my safety. But you cannot take away my belief that one educated girl can change the world." Sunrise moral of the story. True strength is not loud, it's silent persistence. Even one heart full of courage can light 1,000 more. And no matter how dark the world becomes, the sunrise always finds a way through.